Good evening, you're watching In Depth. I'm Preeti Chaudhary, and today our focus on In Depth is on our neighbor Sri Lanka, plunged into a political crisis. We're going to get you an in-depth account of what is taking place in the island nation, but before we even start, let's tell you all about the man who started it all, the President of Sri Lanka, Maithripala Sirisena. So who is Maithripala Sirisena? Let's just take you through that. Well, he belongs to a farming family in the Sinhalese-dominated north-central province of Sri Lanka. In 1971, he was all of 19. All of 19, Sirisena was jailed for 15 months for alleged involvement in the first armed rebellion by the extreme left People's Liberation Front. Almost killed in October 2008, when his convoy was attacked by Tamil Tiger suicide bombers in Colombo. He defeated Mahinda Rajapaksa to become the president in the year 2015. Was a senior member of the Sri Lankan People's Front and a close ally of Rajapaksa before defecting in 2015 to fight for the post of president. Sirisena allegedly claimed that Raw was plotting his assassination. He later called up our Prime Minister Modi, and denied having made any such comments. So what is taking place right now in the country of Sri Lanka, plunging into a political crisis started by this man, the president? A petition was heard in the Supreme Court challenging the president dissolving the parliament. Well, what the Supreme Court did was on Tuesday, it suspended the presidential decree and the parliament was convened on the pre-scheduled date, that is today. What followed was utter chaos. Take a look.
A day after the Sri Lankan Supreme Court overturned a presidential decree dissolving the legislature, the parliament passed a motion of no confidence on Wednesday. Amid chaotic scenes, 72-year-old Mahinda Rajapaksa and his legislator son Namal walked out of the red-carpeted chamber just before the Speaker Karu Jayasuriya called for a vote to decide legitimacy of the controversially appointed government. The Speaker ruled that a majority of the 225-member assembly supported the motion against Rajapaksa, who had been made Prime Minister on October 26th in place of Ranil Wickremesinghe by the President Maithripala Sirisena.
This is a time to unite. This is a time to unite, ensure that justice and fairness prevails, that democracy is promoted and enhanced, and this should not be a time to promote political vengeance.
But this does not translate into a straight win for Ranil Wickremesinghe. Though his party is the largest in the Lankan parliament, it is the President, Maithripala Sirisena, who retains the power to choose the next Prime Minister. The President had earlier dissolved the same parliament on the 9th of November.
ඇති වූ දේශපාලන අර්බුදය විසඳා ගැනීම සඳහා සුදුසුම ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී යුක්තිසහගත වූ සාධාරණ වූ තීන්දුව යුත්තේ එය පොදු ජනතාවට බාර දීම යන ඒ උතුම් ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී පරමාර්ථය ඉටු කරමින් තමයි මම පාර්ලිමේන්තුව විසිරුවා හැර මහා මැතිවරණයක් පැවැත්වීමට විශේෂයෙන්ම තීරණය කළේ.
The President of Sri Lanka had announced elections on January 5th. But the Supreme Court on Tuesday suspended the presidential decree to dissolve parliament and hold fresh elections. The apex court of Sri Lanka delayed the latest presidential orders until December 7th.
From the stay order, it follows that the status quo ante is restored. So from this decision, the position reverts back.
ඒ ආකාරයෙන් අපි විශ්වාස කරන අධිකරණය හරහා මේ රටේ විධායක නටන මේ පිස්සු හෙලා දැකලා විශේෂයෙන්ම ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවට ගරු කරමින් ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවට අනුකූලව
Mahinda Rajapaksa and 44 former lawmakers defected from the party led by Sirisena on Sunday, the 11th of November, splitting with the president barely 2 weeks after Rajapaksa was installed in office by Sirisena.
All right, now let's tell you a little more about Sirisena's once foe, now turned ally. Let's tell you a little more about Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is vying as we speak for the Prime Minister's seat. Who is Mahinda Rajapaksa? Let's take a quick look. Now, Rajapaksa is credited with leading the military operations to eliminate Tamil tigers with the killing of LTT kingpin Prabhakaran. Now, Rajapaksa was accused of atrocities against the Tamil minority in the crackdown against the LTT. Rajapaksa won his first presidential elections in the year 2005 when he defeated Ranil Wickremesinghe, then won by landslide margin in 2010, riding on the win over the LTT. Elected to parliament at the age of just 24, Rajapaksa was the youngest ever Sri Lankan parliamentarian in the year of 1970. Belonging to the majority Sinhalese community, he is believed to be the pro-Sinhalese leader. Allegations of corruption, nepotism have dogged his tenure ever since. Now, the political situation in the country of Sri Lanka is such of heavy turmoil. India till now has watched in studied silence from the outside. Other than one official comment, nothing is coming in from India's way. Looking at it, seeing how things develop, and they are developing dramatically. However, there are voices now coming in from the island nation looking at India, the larger country, to possibly intervene.
Mahinda Rajapaksa mama Sri Lanka Prajatantrika Samajwadi Janaradi underground Vyavastha Arakshaka.
India has been a silent observer to the developments in Sri Lanka. While the US and the European Union have strongly condemned the current developments in Colombo, New Delhi has followed the wait and watch policy. Political parties in Tamil Nadu had slammed the sudden appointment of Rajapaksa as the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. From the ruling AIA-DMK to the opposition DMK, political parties from Tamil Nadu warned the centre against turning a blind eye to the developments in the neighbouring country.
இதில் நம்ம அம்மா என்ன நிலை எடுத்தாங்களோ அந்த நிலை தான் நம்முடைய அரசு நிலை. எனவே அம்மா தெளிவாக ஒரு 1.5 லட்சம் தமிழர்கள் கொன்று குவிப்பதற்கு காரணமாக இருந்த அன்றைக்கு இலங்கை அதிபராக இருந்த ராஜபக்ஷ ஒரு இன்டர்நேஷனல் கோர்ட்டில் நிறுத்தி நம்ம அவர் சர்வதேச குற்றவாளியாக நம்ம அறிவிக்கணும்.
Tamil parties accused Rajapaksa of genocide during the war against LTT. He's blamed for ill-treating Sri Lankan Tamils even after the defeat of the LTT. Activists blame India for not siding with the Sri Lankan Tamils, saying it is even detrimental to India's foreign policy.
Actually, it is the Tamil people who are supporters of India in such a region as Indian Ocean with the geopolitical significance. The Indian government would have taken Tamils into confidence than the Sinhalese.
Tamil Nadu politicians don't have a holistic understanding of what is happening in Sri Lanka. I think they're demanding that Rajapaksa be held responsible for this and action be taken against Rajapaksa at any international forum.
It is not an easy call for New Delhi, because reaction to Sri Lanka's internal issues have to be tempered with the geopolitical realities of any such action. Have to be tempered with the geopolitical outcome of any such action. Sri Lanka sits right at the heart of the world's busiest shipping corridor, and the fear of Sri Lanka becoming a Chinese military post is very much at play here. How far to accommodate Indian interests is said to have been one of the key reasons for the fallout between President Maithripala Sirisena and the then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. With China having already edged India out in some key port contracts, India has to be careful on who to back in Colombo, because backing the wrong party might tilt the balance totally in favor of China.
While China and India continue to fight for strategic space here in Sri Lanka, Chinese presence here is a reality. It is not going to change with the change in governments. We saw it during Rajapaksa regime, and it continued even during Sirisena Ranil Wickremesinghe regime. The city that you see behind me is the port city, which is being built by China, a multi-billion-dollar project that was given to the Chinese during Rajapaksa government, and despite the promises made by Sirisena and Ranil Wickremesinghe that they're going to cancel Chinese projects, this project continues. It goes to show the strong presence that China has, but more importantly, the importance that Sri Lanka attaches to commercial interests and commercial cooperation between China and Sri Lanka. These projects are example of what is going to happen in the future as well. And India, while has to be wary, but also has to realize that China is not going to go away from Sri Lanka anytime soon. With Duty journalist Aravinda in Colombo, Geeta Mohan for India Today.
So that's how it's all panning out right now. Nobody quite knows how it's going to go down. But one thing we can say for sure, that the island nation, our neighbor, is right now in the throes of a constitutional crisis. So, three key players in the current political crisis of Sri Lanka. We told you about Sirisena, we told you about Rajapaksa, now we will tell you about Wickremesinghe. Ranil Wickremesinghe, the ousted Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. Let's take you through his trajectory. Now, Ranil Wickremesinghe, who till last month was part of an alliance with, mind you, with Sirisena, has been leading the United People's Party ever since the year 1994. Now, Ranil Wickremesinghe twice ran unsuccessfully for the office of Sri Lankan president. He first lost to Kumaratunga in 1999 and then to Rajapaksa in the year 2005. Ranil Wickremesinghe broke up the 2002 ceasefire deal with Tamil Tigers, which Rajapaksa lifted, mind you, in the year 2008. Wickremesinghe is credited with pushing the country through an impressive economic transformation ever since he came into power, and is generally right now backed by the strong business community of Sri Lanka. Wickremesinghe is believed to be close to India, in fact closer to India than the other two, than Rajapaksa or Sirisena. So India would possibly prefer him in the pilot seat when it comes down to Sri Lanka. But India is absolutely saying nothing. So for days now, Sri Lanka has been facing an unprecedented crisis. The president sacked the parliament, ousted the prime minister overnight, inviting a former president to the chair of prime minister who till now cannot muster up the numbers. The sacked prime minister, whose party in coalition with the president's party was in power, refusing to vacate his official residence, claiming he is still the Prime Minister, Wickremesinghe.
On 30th of October, over 10,000 supporters of the ousted Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe poured onto the streets of Colombo. Right outside his official residence, Temple Trees, which he refuses to vacate. This protest was the first such organized gathering of people after Wickremesinghe was sacked by President Maithripala Sirisena. What led to these protests was a dramatic turn of events starting 26th of October.
Mahinda Rajapaksa වල මම ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතාන්ත්‍රික සමාජවාදී ජනරාජ්‍ය
In a surprise move that day, former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa was sworn in as Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. This followed President Maithripala Sirisena sacking incumbent Ranil Wickremesinghe. The appointment was confirmed in a statement from the President's office, but Wickremesinghe refused to accept it.
I am the Prime Minister under Article 42 of the Constitution in accordance with the 19th Amendment. Since I have a majority, I remain as the Prime Minister and I will function as the Prime Minister.
මම පැහැදිලිව කියන්නට ඕන නීති විශාරදයින්ගේ උපදෙස් මත ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවට එකඟව කිසිදු පටහැනිවීමක් නොමැතිව මේ පත්කිරීම් කරලා තිබෙන්නේ ඉවත් කිරීම් කරලා තිබෙන්නේ අලුත් ආණ්ඩුව පිහිටවලා තිබෙන්නේ ඒ නිසා ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවට පටහැනිවයි මේ නීතියට එකඟ නොවන ආකාරයටයි කියන ඒ චෝදනාව මම සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනවා.
After sacking Wickremesinghe, President Sirisena shut Parliament till November 16th to forestall any challenge against his appointment of former strongman Mahinda Rajapaksa as the new Prime Minister. The hostility between the President and the ousted Prime Minister is not unusual, considering that they belong to political parties which have been traditional rivals, and tension was brewing between the duo on several policy matters. And as news spread, along with political uncertainty, the reaction on the street was mixed.
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අගමැති සීනිය බලාගෙන හිටිය අපි
අගමැති අයලා රටේ ජනතාව පත් කරන්න ඕනේ. Tamanට එක එක්කෙනාට ඕන විදිය බෑ. මේක ඡන්දයක් තියලා එන්න ඕනේ. පාර්ලිමේන්තු ඡන්දේ මේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා එක එක දියර අපේ ලෝකෙට ලැජ්ජ වෙනවා. ලෝකෙ බලන් ඉන්නේ මේක මෝඩ රටක් කියලා.
While Wickremesinghe resisted the move to evict him from his official residence, Mahinda Rajapaksa went about seeking the blessings ahead of naming a new cabinet. Ceylon, as the country was known back then, and primarily made up of a large Sinhala and a minority Tamil population, got independence from Britain in 1948. But within a year, the majority Sinhalese population disenfranchised their Tamil brethren. The northern Tamilians had been perceived to be closer to the British during colonial times, and that deep-rooted grouse led to the ethnic divide between the Sinhala and Tamil populations. By 1972, the country changed its name from Ceylon to Sri Lanka and established itself as a republic. In 1978, a new constitution provided for a parliament with a single house, a prime minister and an executive president. The constitution also provided for an independent judiciary and guaranteed fundamental rights. But over the next decades, the constitution got amended several times, all of them moving the nation away from liberal values. 1982 saw an amendment that enabled the president to seek a re-election after 4 years. In 1983, LTTE, a group of armed rebels demanding a separate Tamil homeland, ambushed an army convoy, killed 13 soldiers and triggered the beginning of the Lankan Civil War. 1984 to 2004, the Civil War took a deadly toll over 26 years. In 2004, anti-tiger hardliner Mahinda Rajapaksa became the Prime Minister. A year later, he became the President, while the war continued. In May 2009, a revamped Sri Lankan army defeated the Tamil Tiger rebels and ended the civil war. By October 2009, Rajapaksa's ruling coalition moved up the presidential elections, hoping to cash in on the military success over LTTE. By 2010 January, Rajapaksa got re-elected as the president in a landslide victory, defeating his ex-army chief, General Sarath Fonseca, who had led the military campaign against the Tamil Tigers. In September 2010, the Sri Lankan Parliament passed constitutional amendments to remove the president's two-term limit, and this enabled Rajapaksa to seek re-election. In 2014 November, Maithripala Sirisena defected from Rajapaksa's government to run as the opposition candidate in the next presidential elections. Sirisena claimed that everything in Sri Lanka was controlled by one family, the Rajapaksa family, and that the country was heading towards a dictatorship with rampant corruption, nepotism and a breakdown of the rule of law. In 2015 January, Sirisena secured a surprise victory in the presidential elections, defeating Rajapaksa's bid for a third term. In April, the parliament passed constitutional amendments restoring the two-term limit for the presidency and creating independent commissions for police, judiciary and the public services. But in August, neither Rajapaksa nor Sirisena got a clear majority in parliamentary elections. Sirisena's party then signed an agreement with Ranil Wickremesinghe's party to form a unity government. In 2018 January, the Sri Lankan lawmakers exchanged blows in parliament during a debate over an alleged corruption case. In February, Rajapaksa's party swept local elections in a major blow to Sirisena's three-year-old government. In April 2018, Wickremesinghe comfortably overcame a no-confidence vote, strengthening his hand within the unity government. And then on 26th of October, Sirisena, in a surprise move, sacked Prime Minister Wickremesinghe of Sri Lanka, dissolved his cabinet and suspended the parliament, and then invited Mahinda Rajapaksa to form a government as the new Prime Minister of Sri Lanka.
Very, very complicated, isn't it? Well, this is what the constitutional crisis of Sri Lanka is all about. We, right here, are going to keep a very keen eye on the political developments there, getting you the latest on In Depth. Do stay with us. The updates continue.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.